Hey, what's up YouTube? Mike from Mass here, Mass Aquariums, and tonight's video is going to be on tools of the trade, because you know what? When you get into this hobby, you think you're going to have a fish tank and everything's going to be easy. And hey, wifey, I'm just going to get one fish tank, maybe two fish tanks, it's going to be cheap. But guess what? It's not. You can make it cheap, DIY, but it's not cheap. So, in this video, I'm going to, I just did 3 water changes in 3 of my tanks. I still have 2 more tanks to do water changes tonight, but I wanted to show you some tools of the trade. Some stuff that you might need, you might want to get, you know, to help your hobby and to get things going or keep your maintenance going. So, the first thing you're going to need is this. A credit card. You're going to need a credit card. Or debit card, because you're going to spend a lot of money. It's kind of like, having fish tanks is like, kind of like you buy a house and, you know, you buy a drill here and a saw there and a rake here. You know, you slowly build up stuff until you realize you really need a lot of stuff. So, I'm going to go through a few things, or 20 things that I use in my fish tank that I think you could use in your fish tank, and comment and let me know what you think. Let me know if you use them or you don't use them, or maybe you want to use them. So, let's start off. Here we go. Got a big pile. This is a ordinary meat thermometer, but when I do my water changes and I stop my water, you can put your hand under it, and you know, the human can feel plus or minus 1 degree with their hand, but this comes in very handy. It's a electric meat thermometer. I run this right under the tap. I get it to 82, 81, 80, whatever my tank's running at. Run the water. Once it's consistent for a minute, I let it flow. So, very inexpensive, maybe like 10 bucks. Electronic meat thermometer. Good for your water changes to get the temp coming out of your tap exactly where you want it. Pipe cleaner. You're going to need this for all your filter maintenance, all your intakes, everything. This will come in handy for just about everything you need to clean. Outside of intakes, inside of intakes, you know, filters, whatever you need to use this pipe cleaner for, it is going to come in handy. Trust me. Get one of these. In 99 cents probably. $1. What else we got here? Sharp pair of scissors. If you have planted tanks, you are going to need a sharp pair of scissors. You don't need surgical scissors. You don't need to go buy those expensive scissors. Just make sure it's a sharp pair of scissors to trim your plants. If you hack them up with some old ass grandma scissors that, you know, you stole from your sister's brother's junk drawer, it's not going to work. A sharp pair of scissors, why am I fucking that up, will clip your plants very nicely. You need a sharp edge. You need to clip them nicely or they will melt back. So, sharp pair of scissors. Scissors. Some tape. Tape's always good. If you have your DIY backgrounds, you want some poster board, nice black poster board, white poster board, whatever kind of poster board you want, whatever you're using for your background. If you decide to use poster board or any kind of background that needs any kind of, you know, to hold up, Scotch tape is very good. Algae scrubber. I got a couple different kinds. You are going to need algae scrubbers. You're going to need to clean your glass. Always clean your glass when you do your water change. Even if your glass looks unbelievable when you start your water change, just clean it, because there's stuff on there that you do not see. This is a nice one. This is top fin. I like this one as well. It did come with a little bit of more hard grade on the back. As you can see, that's gone. Algae scrapers. Very cheap. One of my favorite, I use all the time. Mini tongs, especially for you planted guys. These are great just to get in there, even when you're not doing a water change. Go in there, You're picking out little pieces of plants that have maybe melt back or off your power heads or off your circulation pumps. Maybe there's a little piece of something you just want out of the tank and you don't feel like dunking your arm all the way in there and trying to get it with your fingers. These are from Fluval. These tiny little tongs are one of my favorite things. If I did a top 3, these would be in it. Alright, this might be a little overkill, but Lure Lock syringes. If you guys have small tanks, big tanks, and you don't have the caps to do your dosing on your fertilizers, your stress coats, your prime, your Excel, whatever kind of thing you're dosing, or if you're going to do a water change and test your water and you want that precise 5 mLs for your API master kit, these little syringes are really nice. You can fill the tube up over and over and over again, and then you go over the line, dump it out. Under the line, have to fill more water. You take this tiny little syringe, draw out 5 mLs, put it in the API water, test kit, 5 mLs right on the line. These come in really handy. Perfect. These were free, but you can get them at CVS. Now, these two come together. Airline tubing. Everybody has it for their circulation, their air stones, their sponge filters, whatever you're going to use them for. It's always nice to have a little extra. If you have extra, you can drip acclimatize your fish. Now, what you do, take your extra, put it in the tank, bring this down, make a siphon to drop in the bucket with your fish, and this little clamp. Boom. Clamp it off, it'll drip. It clamps it off enough so that just the bottom of the line will drip in that bucket with your fish. If you have some really sensitive fish, this is, perfect for that drip acclimatize. German blue rams, any type of crazy fish that you just can't, you have to drip acclimatize. This is perfect. Get some extra airline tubing and a little clamp. You can always tie it in a knot as well. That always works. Tie it in a knot. It'll do the same thing. A net. Everybody needs a net. Done. Zip ties. I always get a big bucket of zip ties. I got tons of stuff I got to zip tie around my house, but I use all the black ones because if you have Java fern, Anubias, anything you want to tie to a rock or a piece of driftwood, you can use rubber bands, fishing line, but I love black zip tie. You just zip it right to the rock, snip off the end. It never rots. It never, if it's a rubber band, it's going to melt away eventually. You can't see it if it's black. It just looks really sweet. So if you get some black zip ties, that's going to be great for any type of plant that you want to tie to rocks or driftwood. Boo. Hydrogen peroxide. Last ditch effort if you need to kill some algae. I love to use hydrogen peroxide, and you're going to need a tiny little spray bottle. I fill my spray bottle with hydrogen peroxide if I have just some algae that just will not go away. Hair algae, brown algae, any type of algae that you cannot get rid of just from doing water changes, cleaning, all that stuff. Little spray bottle, hydrogen peroxide, spray. It melts away in days. Trust me, it's a lifesaver. Last ditch effort. You don't want to be spraying that in your tank all the time, but it's not going to harm your fish or your plants. It really is good. Tiny little razor blade is perfect for green spot algae. If you do get green spot algae, which everybody will get eventually, little spots here and there, you can't rub it off with your algae scrapers or whatever. You take a little razor blade, just like you would get at Home Depot or, for your utility knife, for your roofers, and you just scrape it down right on that green spot algae. It takes it right away. It will not come back. Little tiny razor blades. Perfect tool for the aquarium. What else we got here? Look at this. Tiny little gravel vac. Everybody has one of these, but do you have a pump You can get it at Ken's Fish. Who wants to suck out of this and get that dirty ass aquarium water in their mouth? Put your gravel vac in, pump, 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 sucks it out real quick. This was $4 at Ken's Fish. Now, my fish room is in the basement, so I cannot create a siphon with my ginormous, 50-foot python. I can put water in my aquariums, but I cannot create a siphon from my sink with this. So I gotta do the bucket brigade, dump all the water into buckets, bring it upstairs, but I can fill this up with my python. Now, if any of you have a python, sometimes you know when you twist it off, twist it on, it sprays like crazy. If you don't have a huge tall sink and you don't want whatever, your dry dishes or your sink to get covered in water, this is what I've done. I got a 5-gallon bucket and I drilled a ton of holes in the bottom of it. Now, what you do is you put this in your sink, you hook up your python over your faucet, and when that stuff sprays out, it sprays right into this bucket. It doesn't get all over your whole countertops or, wherever you're hooking up your python. And you put a bunch of holes in it and it drains right down in. Perfect. So, rambling. I did a ton of tools that you may or may not use, but all the tools I use. And if you think it's cheap, it's not cheap. You get into the aquarium hobby, eventually you're going to spend money. So, this is Mike from Mass. Like it, comment, subscribe, dislike it if you don't like it. If you don't like it, dislike it, and then put a comment in and tell me why you don't like it so that I can prove for you guys. So, get your credit card out and get ready to buy some stuff. This is Mike from Mass. I'm out.